If not, you can just, excuse me, watch and then do it later. So let's see. Just wondering. Okay. All right. So the first thing we have to do, is we know, even though it looks like she has no background behind her, is we need to go ahead and trace her. So as always, we come over to the trace tool over here on the right-hand side, and I'll continue to talk slowly and go slowly because we do have some new people here. So we're going to open the trace panel by clicking on it, and I'll drag it over here so it's closer to our image. And what we're going to do first is select the trace area. So I just click on this, and I'm going to select what I want to trace. Now, of course, if I wanted to just trace her little bag, I could just trace that part and get rid of some of this extra stuff that I don't need. So I am going to trace her like that. And she comes in traced pretty good. I'm going to scroll in just a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. Oh, Tammy, what? Oh, no, there it is, the purpley stuff we were talking about, or the text lettering. Okay, so I'm going to just trace her, just come to trace. Now, if I was doing a print and cut, just to refresh your memory, I would probably want to move the threshold way up like this. Or I wouldn't even really need to, but I would just say trace and detach. So what that would leave me with is this girl right here, and then I'd have the junk over here that I could get rid of that you probably can't see very well, but you can kind of tell I'm moving a box around. And this would be a beautiful print and cut just like that. That's not what we want, so I'm going to hit Control and Z on my keyboard so I can get it back to here, because I just want to trace it. So I'm going to move the threshold down. And I'm looking to see if there looks like there's any broken lines, because I don't want broken lines, if I can help it. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to say just plain trace. All right, let me scroll out a little bit so she fits. And now I can move her off of here. Oops, move her off of here, and I'll save her here because she's going to help me color her. Okay, so I'm going to bring her over here now. Now, as you'll remember, the first thing I always say to do is to just click on the outermost part of her and come up here to the upper left-hand corner where there's the trace, the color swatch thing. Now, if you haven't updated to the most recent version, you probably don't have this line right here. These were my most recently used colors in some other projects I was working on. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to change her to a color that's not going to be in my object or in my final product. And I think I'll use a green. There we go. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that again. And I'm going to come up here to Object, Release Compound Path. And when I go to Object and Release Compound Path, that's going to put all those little squares all over it. And the reason why I chose a light color for my first color, it was so that I could still see below to see what I'm going to try to work with. So I'm going to release the compound path. And it's taking a little bit of time. There we go. So something odd has happened. I'm not sure why her hand didn't turn green that time. That's weird. But we'll continue on and see what happens. I'm not sure about that. All right. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to start choosing some of these things and coloring them. So I think I'll just start at the top. I'll do the white parts first. So I'm going to click the white on her hat, hold down my Shift key, and I'm going to click this white. Oh, there's something weird there. I'm just going to leave that alone. Does that come off? No. Huh. Let's see. I don't know what that's all about. So, you know, I'm going to trace that one more time just to make sure I didn't mess up something when I was tracing. Because her hand is just looking really weird. So move her back over here. I'll come over here to the piece of toast or the butterfly. It doesn't look like a butterfly. I guess by scrolling it does. I'm going to grab it And I'm going to go ahead and click on this and say select the trace area again. And I have those lines showing up. I guess y'all can see them maybe. Okay, there's that. Now that looks fine to me, her hand. So I'm just going to click on trace.
Patty Ann, there's because
Yes.
there's a hole in her hand.
There's a hole in her hand?
Yeah,
But
right down the bottom.
oh,
Might be
okay.
the
I didn't
same.
think that would matter for right now. Huh. All righty
No,
then.
'cause it's not attached to anything. It's blank, like a great big line between it. If you
Okay.
zoom right in, you'll see it.
Oh, I
On my
do.
trace, anyway. Yeah, it is actually on the picture too.
Okay.
Okay, I'll mute again.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Object. There we go. Okay, you're
Yeah.
right. There's a little, there's that little line, Tammy. Okay. So that means that's going to be an issue, and that's one of those node things we're going to have to fix. So let's go back again and get the white. So I'm going to get the top of her head, hold down my shift key, get the other pieces that aren't messed up that are white. This and this. I'm holding down my shift key all the time, trying to get these white pieces. And I probably should scroll in because I know I'm going to get something wrong in a sec. I think I got most of it. So I'm going to change all of that to white by coming up here to the color swatch. And right there's the white. Okay, did I get most of it? No, I didn't get her shirt and that kind of thing. So I'll get her shirt. There's her shirt. Hold down my shift key and this little piece. Hold down my shift key and this little piece. And I'll come back up here again and change it to white. Okay. So that's pretty good. I'm going to scroll in further, closer, so we can start working on her feet. And what I want to do is bring this girl back over here so I can use her colors in my thing. So let's see. I'm going to grab this part of her shoe, hold down my shift key. And if you're working along with me, you know, maybe you're getting it done more quickly. I'm just going slowly-ish for anyone new. So I'm still holding down my shift key and I'm looking at this image right here and I'm picking out all this darker orange color and just clicking in those areas. So like this little area right here that I would say looks like her knee, I clicked on that, still holding down my shift key. I'm gonna come up here and get that little piece. Still holding the shift, get this one. All right, I think I got all of them right there. I'm not positive. And I want to make sure that I make it the exact same color. I'm going to come up here to the color swatch. And now it's wee teeny weeny over here, the little eyedropper. It's on the very right-hand side on my screen, the way it is now with the update. It's right here. And that it turns it into an eyedropper. And it allows me to pick a color, any color I want on here. I'm going to pick the orange. And that changed those things to orange. And I can see what I've missed. So I missed this piece right here. So I'm going to click on it, hold down my shift key and get this. And I could do the pumpkin, I guess. He's probably the same color. And it looks like this little handle might be the same. So I'm still holding down my shift key and try that again. Now, this is my most recently used colors in the update. And the very most recent one that I used, the other heel, did I forget? Oh, thank you. Roxana, I see you. Let me see if I can still hold down my shift key and grab it. Yeah, thanks. And I'm going to come up here. And again, these are my most recently used colors. The very most recent one will be on the far left. So I'm going to click that. There we go. All right, let's see how it's looking. Okay, so move her over a little. Oh, I can't move her just like that. I got to move this girl over. So it looks like I've got some more orange to do. Look at her waistband. So I'm going to click here, hold down the shift key, and this little tiny line there. And this little dot on her sleeve. And these little dots on her neckline. And I saw something else. What was it? Oh, this other part of the handle. So it's, I think it's this piece. Which one's is it? It's not that. It's this one. And not that. But the next one, this one, I guess.
Yes, yes.
Looks like it's too close to me, but it must be it. Okay. So I'll change this to the orange. There we go. Okay, let's see. All right, now we've got her hat to do, her bow to do. And this little part on her sleeve. I think I'll do her bow first and this part. Click. Oh, when you get the nodes accidentally, it won't let you change the color. Look up here on the upper left-hand corner. There's no swatch. So just click on the letter V as in Victor on your keyboard, and that gets you back to the one you want. Then hold down your Shift key and grab her bow. And then come up here and grab the orange. Something weird has happened right here. I think I might just want to get those little nodes right here, right now. So I'm going to double click on this thing. Oh, let me scroll in so you can see. See that point? I don't know what happened right there. Well, I actually do know what happened right there, but I'm going to scroll and move that node right back down. Oh, actually, what I could do if I wanted to is I could just delete that node. So watch this. When nothing is selected, I'm going to double click on it. That brings up the nodes. If it brings up way too many nodes and it looks icky, you can come over here to the right-hand side where it says Simplify and click on that. And that will get rid of some of the nodes. It got rid of a lot of them. Look at that. So now what I can do is I can come up here to this very top node on this pointy thing and click on that. Notice when I click on it, it turns from a little kind of grayish dark square to a white one. And since it's white, that means it's the active node. And I can just hit delete on my keyboard and that node will go away. Perfect. All right, now the next one got changed to the active node. I'm going to hit delete and see what happens if I just delete that one. I didn't like that, so I'm going to go Control Z. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this piece, which adds a node right there at the tippy top. I'm going to delete that. Okay, that's getting better. Let me scroll in a little bit more so you can see. I don't really want to delete this node right here. I'm going to make one here by clicking up here. Notice it's white now, so it's the active node, and I'm going to delete it. I could do the same thing again if I want to right here and delete. And I could, continue doing that, or I could mess with these little handles here and just kind of smooth it out. And I could delete this one. What happens? There we go. All right, that's pretty good. Let's scroll out and make sure I didn't make a mess of anything. I think it looks pretty good still. So that's okay. Now let me keep scrolling out. Notice all the nodes are still around here. Do you remember how to get back to where there's no nodes? Hit the V on your keyboard. Whoops. If you have something selected, let's see, double click, V, yeah, okay. Usually if you hit the V, those will go back to just a regular selection. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, so we also have her little candy. And we're not going to, maybe we won't do the whole thing of Minnie because there's not too much on her to fix. So I think I'll bypass the candy right now. Let's go down to that troublesome hand. And I do see that little opening right there that's a problem. So let's scroll way in on that. Scrolling into this stuff is really your friend, helps a lot. It's just V. I just do the V on my keyboard. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. There's that. If I just hit V on my keyboard, yeah, just the V. You're welcome, Barbara. All right, so now I'm going to double click on this to get the nodes back. And again, I can simplify it if I want to by coming over here to the simplify, which is perfect because then that leaves the two areas that I need. So there's this slice right here, and we don't want that to be there. So let's scroll in a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little gray node right here, turn it into the active node, and then I'm going to right click on it and say break path. Okay, don't worry about all this other stuff that goes on around it. Just worry about this right here. And you're going to pull it apart. So that means it's going to have two different pieces like this. And actually I wonder what would happen if I deleted that. I have not tried it this way. Let me try this. Delete. Okay. Okay, so that worked out perfectly. So that's what I wanted. I wanted both of these nodes because I want to be able to hook them up with this guy right here and this one right here. All right, so I'm going to go to this one right here, this little square, right click on it and say break path. So again, this thing should come right apart for me. And notice when I start getting close to this thing over here, it's just going to jump to it like it's a really strong magnet. Boop, and it jumped right to it and it colored something. And I'm not sure if that's exactly what I wanted to color yet, but I'll check it out in a minute. So I'm going to click on this red one here. And I might as well just delete that since I found that that did work. And now I have these two pieces right here that I can bring together, and they'll pop together too, just like that. Okay, let's scroll back out now and see if we made a mess of anything. Nope, look at that now. Her hand looks perfect. So I should be able to color her hand now. Let's see, I need to move this girl out the way. So what didn't I color? Did I color this part of her dress yet? Okay, I think it was just this part of her hand. Oh, you know what, y'all? It won't work yet because what I have to do, I hope, I think I have to come back to Object, Release Compound Path, and then I have to send this to the back or not. Okay, wait a minute, Control Z. All right, let's say this. Okay, so maybe, what did I do, Tammy? Not following
You
my,
have to go back and don't delete that part that you did. Go back to where you decided to delete those things and
those notes?
yeah, bring them back.
I don't think that should make a difference. Let me check. You mean when I connected them together?
Yeah, take them back to there. No, take them all the way back.
Okay.
Now,
right.
Connect that to
so
the
now
other.
I'm gonna go ahead and break path.
Yeah, because I think what happened when you deleted them, it turned it into one line instead of two separate.
Okay.
I'm
But I
not
can
sure.
delete this one. And there's
Yeah.
that and that. Okay, now I'm gonna, it should have still worked. Delete, break path. That can go to there. And this one can go to here. Cockeyed like, but let me, come here, you. All right, so I need to fix that. All right, let's pretend like that looks good. And scroll out.
Now release your path.
Oops, I gotta move this girl off the way because she keeps being part of it. All right, Object, release the compound path, did it again. Okay. And then, okay, this is what was happening yesterday with the eyeball.
Done it again.
Yep. Does anybody say anything? Can you just change the small piece to white? Object. Okay, I am not sure what I've done here. Okay, there we go. Okay, wait.
Oh, it's
There's
behind
no
there.
behind it, yes. So all I have to do now, you guys, you see that? There's the part I need. It's behind this big piece. So all I have to do right now is put this back together the way it needs to be. And then I should be able to send this to the back. There we go. So there's the piece I need right there. So, okay, so if ever that happens to you, move your big piece out of the way and make sure the piece that you need hasn't been sent to the back. Because there now I can change her color to white. So do y'all understand what just happened there? The little confusion. So I made this all one path. I joined those red nodes together. And then I wasn't able to just grab the hand. So I had to release the compound path. But the problem was when I did that, let me bring this to the front. Well, when I did that, it actually just brought to the front the part that I didn't want brought to the front, and it hid that new little piece that I made. So now if I send this to the back again, we can see. So hopefully that makes sense. This is going to happen in a couple more of the samples we're going to do. So I wasn't expecting it in her hand, so it kind of threw me for a loop. Anyway, I don't know if we should continue doing her. I think we better scroll on to the next one. She is pretty cut and dry now from now on. I mean, most of the stuff on her will work really easily. Her eyes look good. See if there's anything. Let's change it to black just for the heck of it and make sure that that's all going to work well. So I go to the outermost part, change it to black, and see how that is. Okay,
Yeah.
we have an issue right here in her foot, and you can probably see what the issue is. There's paint that's in here, the orangey paint, and it's slipping right through this little hole right here. So let's go ahead and fix that one right quick in case you want to use that image for something. So you would just double click on it again. I'm looking at the wrong girl. Hold on. You scroll out. Oh, no, I'm not either. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. All those nodes, and look at all the bazillion of them that there are. There's a lot of nodes in there, so I really want to go ahead and simplify it by coming over here to the right-hand side. And now there's very few nodes, and that's just what I want. So I'm going to scroll in just a little bit more. I like to get in there close. I'm going to click on this one, right-click and say break path. And again, don't worry about what happens elsewhere. So this one's going to go this way, and that's going to go there. So I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to right-click on that one and say break path. So then I can join this to this, and this to this, whoops, and this one, if I can get on the line properly. There we go, that to that. And now it's going to work. Now I will have to adjust this as we go out here, and we'll see. And I can make that look better by playing with these nodes. By just doing like that and make it look better. And now, of course, let's see, that wasn't even supposed to be that color, right? So let's scroll out and see what was it supposed to be. It was supposed to be the lighter color. So I would grab, oh, here we go again.
Release compound path.
Right, release the object, release compound path. I'm trying to see if it was going to go in the back. So this time it didn't go and get hidden. This time I can go ahead and change the color of it to that. And of course, I would go ahead right now and change all of these to that same color. I hope I'm clicking them properly. And I would change them all to the most recent color, which is there. And there she's turning out pretty nicely. So I would just go ahead and change the purple. But before we do anything else, let me remind you about how you do her nose. So right now this piece is a solid piece. And if you wanted her nose to be black, the way it's supposed to be, you'd have to cut out a black circle. But remember, we don't want to have to do more circles or little pieces than we need to. So you just click on that little circle right there. Hold down your shift key and click on the green. And then come over here to the modify panel and click subtract, and that got rid of her nose. Now, if I bring this over, you'll see it's just cut out. We don't need to cut a little tiny nose out. It'll just be this black piece that's the bottom layer that'll shine through or show through. And we do the same thing with her little mouth. Click on her mouth, hold down your shift key, click on the face, and subtract. All right, so we could continue coloring her, but I think we're going to go on to the next one, because they're going to get progressively a little harder, I think. These guys aren't that hard. So go to your Mickey and Minnie that are in a pumpkin if you have it available. And I'm going to pour a little bit more coffee. If you have something to drink, get yourself a little sip of something too. Okay. All right, the first thing we need to do is we need to trace them as usual. And this one is easy to see because there's that white box behind them. Oh, to simplify, the key that I use to simplify is when I'm on the nodes, which I'll have to show you that in a, well, looks like it shows up now. When you double click on something, this point editing panel will automatically pop up. And when that pops up, there's the word simplify right here. So you'll see that in just a sec. Let me get rid of that. I'm going to trace first by coming over to the toast or the butterfly. Select the trace area, and once again, select this. And I'm going to scroll in to see if it looks like I've gotten everything pretty well. I especially like to look around the eyes. And there's a mess up right there. Let's see if I can get rid of that part by changing the threshold. Nope, nope. Oh, yeah, if I go that far, it does. But let's see, am I losing anything? Yeah, if I go that far, okay, that looks okay. Don't look too bad. Let's scroll out and see. Does his mouth look weird? Let me go. So I'm on 66 right now for the threshold. I'm going to go down again to see. Oh, when I was on 66. I don't know. It might be too far. I think I'm going to leave it like that, and I'll fix those nodes. So I'm just going to say trace. All right, so here we have the original that I'm going to save over here so I can have that for helping to color. And I'm going to have this guy. Again, excuse me, the first thing I ever do is come up here and change it to a color I know I'm not going to use. Because if I use, let me show you if I change it to black, because we know they're going to eventually turn it to black. If I change it to black, boy, that looks perfect. Look at that, nice. But now we have to go to release compound path so we can actually color the different parts. When I do that, it's going to turn it all to black. It's working. And it's a little bit too hard to see for me. I can see those red lines kind of, but I'd rather work with something lighter. So I'm going to change that to a lighter color. Okay, so now I can see it better for my eyes. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start coloring some things. So I'm going to color her, the top part of her hat. I guess I'll do her hat first. Hold down my shift key, grab a sleeve. You know, I might even make part of his tongue that same color. There we go. I'm going to come up here to the color swatch, grab the eyedropper, and color it that color. Okay, that seemed to work pretty well. So now I'm going to do the darker part of the, oh, I should have done her tongue too. Let me get her tongue and come up here and change her tongue to the latest color I use, which is on the left here. Perfect. All right, now the inner part of her hat here. Uh-oh, must be a mess up somewhere. There really is a mess up. Now look at this, y'all. I have not done a well enough trace. Can you see there's no line here that shows where her head is versus her hat? I think that's telling me I did not trace this very well, because there should be a line here so that I have the black part and then the cream part of her face. Pretty sure that's what happened. So let me delete, accidentally deleted them too. Move them over. Heavens to Murgatroyd. There we go. And just delete this. And let's see if I do a better trace, if I get it better. So I'm going to come over here to select the trace area again, do this. Okay, that should work right there. So I'm just going to hit trace. And okay, there. This time, you see the difference?
Isn't that weird how you traced it and it done all the other stuff and you went back and done it again?
Right.
And
Because look, now I can do her hat, the side of her hat and her face. So be aware of that. You know, if it happens that like it just doesn't, something doesn't seem right, just go back and retrace it again and see if something better happens for you. So I'm going to just change it again to a color I know I'm not using. I think it's purple. And then I'm going to start again. So I'll do her hat. I don't know if you guys, if you're working along with me, if you had the same problem. Okay, I can't do her hat yet, and you know why, right? I have to release the compound path first. So I've got to come up here to Object, Release Compound Path, and that's going to make all those little squares. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to click on this one. I'll just do the same thing I had done before. Let me move her over so I can see. I'm going to click this and this part and her tongue and his tongue and this part of her sleeve And Tammy, you'll notice something else on here. You may, I'm missing something on him, his bow tie, but we're going to forget about that. I would probably go back and trace this one more time. If you look right here on him, on the colored version, see this red part right here? If you come over here, you'll notice that it's missing. So I needed to do a better trace even than what I did just then. So I could either go back and do that if you want me to, or I'll just continue on and show you the fixes that we'll have to make with what we have. So right now I would just change this to that pinky color. Oopsie. There it is. And then the next thing that I could do is I'll change some of the white things that I can change. White, white, hopefully white, and white, hopefully. I see that open spot on that eyeball, so that's not going to work, I bet. Her hands, that little piece. Let's see, white. So I'm just going around looking to see, first swatch through or first pass through, what do I need to change white that I think will change easily. So I think I'm going to stop right there and see how well that worked and come up here and hit white. Okay, yeah. So, okay, so this isn't going to be right here. What I tried to change white on her face, because notice it, or in her eye, because notice it turned her whole face white. And actually, the reason why that happened was not because I tried to do her eye, because I avoided that. If you look really, really closely, I see what happened. Look at that, right there. There's a hole right there. So I'm going to double click on this to get the nodes and look at all those nodes. Now here is where I'll come over and simplify. So I can come over here to where the word simplify is over here. Remember, as I said, the point editing panel will come up automatically. I'm going to simplify, and I'm just going to right click on one of these and break the path. Right click on this one, break that's path. So I got to connect these the way there and there. Okay, so what's happened now, let me fix her chin just a little bit. There we go. See these little handles that you can use on either side of the active node that help you kind of smooth things out a little bit. All right, let's scroll back out and I'll show you now. Her hands are fine. And when I colored in her face accidentally, that paint sneaked through her hand. Now, there's another issue right here in her eye, and I'm going to fix that right quick. Scroll way in. So once again, I need to double click on this and look at all those nodes, too many to mess with. And I'm going to go to simplify, and I'm going to, oh, I could, you're right. Smart Christine. She says, I could trace just that part and insert it. Absolutely. Good thinking. I didn't even think of that. So I'll break the path here. I think she's talking about the bow tie part I said I missed, and I thought it was too late, but she's right. I could just trace that part at the end and put that right in there. And I'm going to break this path. So I'm going to connect those two pieces and those two pieces. Okay, now I'm going to scroll out again. All right, so not able to grab just this eyeball right now, just the eye by itself. So what I need to do is I need to break, I think I need to object release compound path again. Maybe.
No.
Okay, hang on. Okay, so now
Went to the back.
might be to the back. So I'm going to click on this, click on the purpley part, and with my V, click on the purple part and say, right click and say, send to the back. Nope.
I think the software is doing it myself.
Yeah, you know, I have a new software and it has been messing up a little bit. So if you have not gone ahead and updated yours. If you don't have the Cameo 4, I wouldn't do it yet. Send to the back. Send to the back. Oopsie. So I said to Tammy right before class started, I said, I hope the update on my machine isn't going to mess anything up. And it seems like
There it is. There they are.
it is. But wait.
You gotta bring them back to the front, huh?
So just need to send, all I need to do is bring this guy to the front.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we didn't usually have to do all this jazz, and you probably won't, hopefully, if you have the older version yet and you haven't updated yet. All right, so there's that. So now, let me scroll back out a little bit. So this part of her eyes is supposed to be white. Let's see if we can do this white. White and white. Should work now. White. Whoops, hit white. There we go, hit white. Okay, there we go, perfect. All right, now let's see. What else do we have to work on? Let's see. We need to change that stuff black this here, but that's going to turn black when we do the back part, I believe. There's a few little fingers here that need to be changed to white. Let me hit Control Z because I moved that one too much. Click on that, hold down the shift and that. And something here is white. And this is white. And that's white. And that is white, but I don't think I need to worry about that. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to change that stuff to white. Okay, I'm going to do something easy, I think. I'm going to do the pumpkin. Bring that pumpkin to orange. Let's get the eyedropper, make it the same color, orange. Let's make the inside of his eyes and his nose and his mouth all that yellowy color. So I'm going to come up here, eyedropper, yellow. Perfect. All right, and now the other parts are this, shift, and this, and this, and the inside part of his teeth. And I'm going to come up here, get the eyedropper, and make those this color. Okay, so that was in 2 pieces because you see there's a disjoint there. So I've just got to click on this one now and come up here and get the most recently used color. Okay. All right, now I'm going to turn it black just so we can see how it's coming along. So I'm going to change the whole thing. I'm going to change that little bit of purpley jazz to black, and we can see how it's looking. Okay, and for some reason, I thought that that turned black before. Let's see if I have to do it like this. Okay, yes, so you just click on the little purple outline, hold down your shift key, and click on the pumpkin, and then go to the modify panel over here on the right, and click subtract. So let's bring the pumpkin out and see what that's done. You can see what that's done. It's just taken that little hole out of there so that we see the black behind the eye and even behind here. So you don't have to cut out a little skinny piece of black to stick on there. So again, we'll do it with this purple outline. Hold down the shift key, grab the pumpkin, go to the modify panel, which is over here, and subtract. And there's a lot of purple here, but we'll just do it a little bit at a time. Maybe it's going to grab it all at once because it's all connected. Hold down the shift key and get the pumpkin, I think it is, and subtract. Perfect. It's looking pretty good. So let's change the colors of their faces to be the color they should be. So let's click on her face. I think something's going to happen. Let's see. I think her hand, yep, that's what I thought. All right. Can you see the little disjoint or the little opening right here? I think that's what the problem is right there. And that was allowing the color of her face to sneak down into her hands. So yeah, so what I would do now is I would double click on this to get the nodes back. Once again, I'd simplify it, just makes it easier for me. Scroll way in so I can see what I'm working with. take the node on this side. When it turns into a white node, it's the editable node. Right click and say break path. Remember, we're not going to worry about that even though it's scary. We're going to take this one right here till that becomes the editable node. Right click on it and say break path. Okay, now we're going to bring this one down to meet this one. Okay, it already, oh, good, look at there. And this one's going to come down to meet this one. And again, I could adjust this node. Of course, I wouldn't want to adjust it right now because I can't even see the full picture of what it looks like. So scroll back out. And I could make it nicer if I wanted. But right now, I should be able, unless there's another opening I'm not seeing, I should be able to change her, to do her face. So I'm going to change it to, uh-oh. I think I might need to. Object. I had to object and release compound path again because those were connected. Now I can do this and just get her face. So now I'll come up here to the color swatch, get the eyedropper, and get a color of the face. Very good. And I can do his face the same. Hopefully there's no issues with his face. Last color I used is right here. Perfect. Okay, let's see. Let me scroll out a little bit. Oopsie. I think we're doing pretty well with them. The only thing we're going to do now is grab these kind of things and hold down your mouse. Grab the face, come over to the modify panel and subtract. I can do the same thing with his eyes. Grab that and his nose, and I should have done her nose as well, and the inside of her mouth. And the back. Oh, I wonder if this will work. I'm thinking this isn't going to work because I'm on two different parts. Yeah, look. Oopsie. Sorry, Mickey. I think I better just stay on this side and click and get the other part. Oopsie, that part. And then the back of his face. And now it should work. Subtract. There he goes. He feels much better. He can breathe. And that. So I click. So again, what I'm doing is I'm clicking on the purpley parts, this one and this one. And the last one I'm going to click on, I'm going to go to subtract them. Okay, very good. All right, so just had a few more things to do. I can't remember if this was messed up here. Nope, good. I think I should be able to change this to the proper color of a kind of a gold. I'll just do it. This part of her hat, hold down my shift key and get that, and the inside of her sleeve. And I'll come here, get the eyedropper, and get the inside color. Good. All right, so there's a few more things that I would need to fix. Like there's some purple here still on his hand. I would probably go like you were suggesting and just trace this part again and stick it right in there so I have his little red bow tie. But that's pretty good for that one. I think we'll just stop on him and go to the next one. So let's see what we got here. Okay, shall we do Wimpy or the hardest one, Popeye? Tell me what you guys think. What do you want to do, Wimpy or Popeye? Because we probably don't have time for both. Whoever says something in Popeye. Okay, Christine said Popeye first. So Wimpy, what we were going to try to do was to change his shirt color and get rid of this text right here. And the issue with this shirt color is I'll show you. Believe it or not, there's a little opening right here, and you won't be able to change his shirt color until you fix these nodes right here. There's a little opening by his nose here that I remember. And you wouldn't be able to color his face without coloring his tie or vice versa. And that's pretty much it. Oh, wait, I did see a little opening down here as well. So these are the nodes we'd have to fix on him. There's a little opening here, and there's one there. Okay, so let's go on to Popeye. Okay, so Popeye was an interesting guy to do. So we have him like this, and he's in a square. So the first thing, of course, we're going to have to do is come over here to trace. Select the trace area and just trace around him. And notice that first trace that comes in when it comes in at the automatic default of 45, it's too high. because you lose the details in his shirt and in his mouth. So you need to back that off some so you can see those details. And don't remember. Okay, that looks pretty good right there to me. I have mine set at 22. I think that's pretty good. Let's see, does the circle look good? Yeah, the circle looks good to me. Okay, so I'm just going to go trace. And I'm going to move this one out and put him here. Okay, the first thing I'm noticing right off the bat is there's this one little piece of junk over here I want to get rid of. I always look for the junk. So I'm going to just double click to get some nodes, and then I can click on one of them to make it the active one. Notice it turned into the little white square, meaning it's active. Then I can just hit delete on my keyboard. And then notice the next one becomes white. And I can just hit delete until it's gone, just like that. All right, so now I'm going to scroll back out. And I'm not caring about all those nodes yet because we're not ready for that part. Otherwise, I would certainly simplify that mess. But first thing we're going to do, as always, when we're tracing something, is we're going to come up here to the color palette, change it to something that's not going to be in your picture. I'm getting tired of purple, but I'll use it again. Okay, purple. And there it is. So that's pretty good right there. All right, so now what we have to do is go to Object and release Compound Path, which is going to make all the little squares so we can color him. Okay, there we go. All right, so the first thing maybe I'm going to color is maybe the outer ring on him. I'm going to click on that, hold down my Shift key and see if I can get this other one. Yeah. And I'm going to come up here to the color palette and get the eyedropper so I can make it the exact color and do that. Okay, that worked out really well. Right. Now I'm going to do the white things, just willy-nilly picking things. So it's his hat. Let's see. These other parts of his hat, looks like there's a couple or two more there. And his little cuffs on his sleeves and his teeth. I didn't actually know Popeye had teeth. Okay, and we're going to change them to white. All right, there we go. Okay, pretty good. So now what I guess I'll do is I'll do the red. So that would be his tongue, and I'm going to make all the same red. I don't care. I'm not going to go through that business of making these two different shades of red. So I'm going to hold down my Shift key and get that and that little red and that little red. Okay. I think I have all the red I need, so I'm just going to come up here and just grab a red. Boop. Perfect. Okay. Now, what I guess I'm going to do right now is I want to see how this is going to look. So I'm going to, no, I'm not going to do it like that. Okay, there we go. I got the outermost edge, and I'm going to turn it to black so I can see how it's coming along. Yeah, it's looking really good. So far, so good. All right, now I'm going to change the color of his face. And I will go ahead and this, boop. Okay. And his arms are going to be the same. So I'll grab one, hold down my Shift and get the other one. We're going to be coming up to some node issues in a moment. Oh, right there's one. Oh, I see it. Look at that right there. Okay, so let's scroll in and get rid of that problem we got right there. And it's going to be really easy. As you probably know by now, this is going to be an easy fix. So all we got to do is double click on it to get the nodes. Sure. Let me scroll out, see what's going on. Okay, there we got some nodes, and I'm going to simplify. Going to scroll back in so you can see, and I can see. And I'm just going to break some paths and combine some paths. So I'm going to go over this one right here. When it turned to white, right click and say break path. And again, we're not concerning ourselves with how ugly that looks. And I guess I'll break this path right here. Break the path. So I'm going to bring this one down here and join it with that. And this one here, join like that. And of course, I probably would adjust this mess right here a little bit. I could click on that and delete that point. Click on this one, maybe delete that. That's probably good. Okay, let's scroll back out and see what we got, what we have. Okay, so that worked out well. Now let's see if I can, oh, I can't do anything yet, right? So what I have to do is come up here to Object, release the compound path, then click off. Then I can click back on this and I can color this the color I want it to be, which is that yellow, I think. Let's scroll back out. There's the yellow. So I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to make it any yellow. Boop. Mine's going to be brighter. And I can change this one to the same yellow. I can change this one to the same yellow. And that last one to the same yellow. All right, there he is. Okay, he's almost done. We just got to click on some of these little inner pieces because what we want to do, whoopsie, is click on these. I probably should do it a couple at a time. And then I'm holding down my shift key all the while. Now, actually, I think I'll come over here and get his little tattoo. No, I don't want to go over to that part. I'm going to stay right here on his face. I think his face is the last thing. And then I'm going to come over here to modify and subtract. Okay. So notice, like I said, I missed some because I was doing them a little bit at a time. So I'll get that eyebrow, get his eyebrow, click his eyebrow, click his face, and subtract with the modify panel. There we go. Okay. Oh, and there's a few more things I could have gotten here. That little thing in his ear and on his chin, holding down my shift key all the while, grab his face and subtract. So you know what that's doing now. It's grabbing those little holes. Notice that? Just making little slits. It's cutting that out instead of us having to have vinyl pieces to stick on top. Makes it a lot easier. All right, let's see. I don't know what's supposed to happen up here. Is it supposed to be white? I'm not sure. I'm gonna make it gold. I'll make it the same color as the backing here. I don't know. All right, now I'm gonna do the same thing with his buttons. Hold down my shift key and grab all of those. And I'll just make those the same color. Oh, what did I do? Popeye, where'd you go? Where'd Popeye go? Oh, there he is. Jeez. Okay, make those all gold. Okay, so now I need to do his tattoos. So I'm going to click on this one, hold down my shift key, get the hand arm, and subtract. Just like that. And what I could do is I could change the color of the inside part of his tattoo. On my original one, I made it black. But if I wanted to, what I could do is make it the cream color. I think I still will make it black. So I'll just subtract. And anyway, I would do the same thing to the other arm and do his little pipe. Of course, I would just want to change its color to something else, make it brown, and fix these things to make them black by doing the subtract. But let's go ahead right quick and do the text in case you're wondering, how do you do the text like that? Oh my gosh, what did I do here? Oh, that's just when I moved it. Okay. Did you see that? I thought, oh my gosh, poor Popeye. What has happened to his teeth? There we go. Okay, there. Okay, so I just typed in, came over here to the text tool and typed in the name Popeye. And I don't remember which font I used, but that won't matter. We'll just come over here on the right-hand side to the text style panel. Oh, I think I might have used Chunk 5, that one we had gotten for another class. And then what I believe that I did on my sample, although I don't have to follow that one, is I did come down here to the character spacing and I moved the letters apart a little bit like that. Okay. And I changed them to black, coming up here in the upper left-hand corner and change them to black. And now I want to put them around that circle. Oh, they won't go around that circle until I do something else. I've got to double click on it to get the text editing mode back. And you know that's back because of this bar here and the green box around it and this double-headed arrow. I bring that down right here till it touches this line right here. And it's going to copy that line, go on that line, there we go. So I can bring it over like this. And if I like it touching the line, I could leave it right like that. But as you know, the easy way to get it off that line but still be curved is to just use this little zipper-like tool right here, and that moves it up and down like that, so as far as you want it to be. And now if you want to be able to move him out of here or this piece out without taking the word Popeye, what you have to do is click on the word Popeye, right-click, and say convert to path. And then it'll stay rounded like this, but you can move it anywhere you want to move it. Move it up higher, you can move it down, whatever you like. Okay, I'll do the Sailor Man part. I'm definitely going to do that. Diane, here it comes. So yeah, sometimes it is hard to get it to do that. And I was having a little bit of an issue with that myself, and hopefully I'll remember how I did it. Okay, so now we'll do the Sailor Man. Oops. Okay. All right, so we're going to bring him over here. I might as well just change his font to Chunk also. Highlight it all, and so I'll go up here to my recently used Chunk 5. I think that was a DaFont.com font. And I'll make it much smaller. And now I'm going to double click on it and see what happens. Okay, here's what happened. Watch this, Diane. So originally when I brought it up here, oh, I'm getting lucky today. Usually, oftentimes, there we go, it did it again. Oftentimes it'll come in and it's upside down like that. Is that what you're saying? And you can't get it to not be upside down? Hey, maybe sometimes you do want it upside down and you'd like something that goes the whole way around. But if you don't want it to be upside down, what you can do, whoopsie, is bring it into the inside. Now watch, I probably won't be able to do it again since I touched with it. Get back out here. Try again. Yes, that's what's happening, right? So what I can do is I can bring it inside. Now for some reason I keep getting it onto that line first, and I don't want it on that line. I want it on this line. Did you notice right in the very beginning it was going to work perfectly? All right, so I'll watch just what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it inside here. Whoops. Put it inside here. Then I'm going to use a zipper maybe and move it out some. And then what I can do, if I'm really having trouble and I can't zip it out anymore, wondering if I bring it out. No. Okay, what I can do then is I can, watch, I'm going to get these lined up. Come on. Come on, just one more little bit. There we go. Oh, okay, there. Okay, what I can do if I want to is I can just click on the word now. And if I'm really having trouble, like I'm having a little bit right now, I could go convert to path. And then I could just bring this right out here like this and twirl it around. But I don't know if you noticed in the beginning, I didn't have an issue putting it on there to begin with. So let me try it one more time. Let's get rid of this text and try it again. So I'm going to come over to the text tool, type in the Sailor Man, change the font again to recently used, recently used Chunk 5. Make it a lot smaller because that's too big. All right, now let's see what I can do this time. So I'm going to double click on it again and see if I'll get it to work right first. Okay, there it is. So there it is on the outer line. That's where I want it to be. But I'm going to use a zipper to move it outside a little bit. So that's as far as I can zip it. But what I can do now is just click off, click back on, and say convert to path. And then I can move it out a little bit further if I want to. Does that help? I think that's what you're having problem with. And for some reason, when I went ahead and redid it again, it allowed me to put it on this outmost curve. I'm not exactly sure. And I have had the occasion. I'm wondering if I move this piece out. Let's try that once and see what I'm able to do with this piece out. So I go like this, type it in one more time, the think maybe it's even supposed to be capitalized, but whatever. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna change it one more time just so they look the same basically. Chunk 5, make it smaller. And I'm gonna try to drag it now on the outside of this and see what's gonna happen if it's easier. Okay, there it is again right there. And so I think it's gonna be the same. I only have this much zipper to work with. Let's think now for a minute. If I go ahead and convert to path, it's up here. Okay, so that's pretty much the same as this other one was, I think. Pretty much. So that's a workaround for you. That'll help, I hope. But again, sometimes you actually want it to go the whole way around and be upside down and just read the whole way around the circle. Is anybody else able to get their Sailor Man to work underneath, or just make a circle? Just try a circle and don't even worry about Popeye. Oh, okay. I know, I went kind of fast. I need to slow down probably and not have so many options. I'm always afraid we'll get through everything and everybody will be like, okay, now what are we going to do? So I always have all these things lined up just in case. Use the black outline. And did that work just as well or better? Oh, your daughter texted. Oh, okay. Okay. The black outline work better? Okay, I'm going to try that. Just the black outline. Let's move this. Oh, I can't turn that back into text anymore since I converted it to a path. Maybe I could just undo. Okay, there we go. All right, so it's back to text and just use the black outline. There he goes in the middle. There we go. And then you use the zipper to move it out. Okay, it still seems like it came out just about the same amount of space, and so it's touching. So maybe I would still have to click on it and convert it to a path to be able to move it out just a smidgen more the way I'd like it to be. So if I was to break this path now, break this one, then I could join these two pieces together right here and join this one and this one together here. And then I could change them to 2 different colors if I wanted it. Object, please compound path. And now I can change this into a different color. I just hit my mouse. Okay, hit the V. I could change this one to purple now. This is all I was trying to show you. But what I was really trying to show was I thought I came up with a good secret, but I did not. How do I fix that crossover on his eye? You mean this little thing right here that I did? That little mess? Yes, okay. So that little mess, I would just scroll in. And let's see. So what I actually did on this was I crossed over those lines when I was joining them. So what I would probably do on this one is delete that node right there and get rid of that thing and then just make a new part just to make it easier like that for myself. And I could make it just like this, make a new piece. Yeah, that's all I would do. What happened was I wasn't being careful. I'll show you what happened. And you could see I didn't even need to have that happen if I was careful. Show you right in a minute, and then we'll be done. All right, right there was my issue. Okay, here I am. I have them broken, right? So I brought this guy here, and I brought him right over here, which was, oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry. Let me break that back apart. Break path. Okay. So what I did, see this big humpy thing right here? I should have straightened that out a little bit first before I brought this piece over to meet this one, and I wouldn't have had that issue at all. Okay, there we go. So now if I bring this down here like this, and I'm careful, I don't need to get that piece, that mess up piece that I just got a few minutes ago. And then I could just drag this guy over here to meet this one. And then notice I don't even have that problem. I was just being a little bit quick and a little bit sloppy. and I could just drag this around if I wanted to. I could click right here and add another note if I want to make that a little, straighter down there. But you might not even get that piece of junk thing that I got there if you're careful when you're working and joining the nodes together. So anybody else have any other questions? Thanks, cause when I was successful breaking and dragging. Ah, okay, yes, just zoom in really carefully, closely, and just really pay attention, to what you're doing right there. And if it happens again, take a screenshot of it and put it on our Facebook group and let me look and see how I think that maybe it happened, and maybe I'll be able to help you figure out how not to do it. Yeah, so just be careful when you're dragging them. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, I guess that's it for today. If you have a question or suggestion for something you would like to have in our class next week, be sure to let me know. And I will see you guys in Facebook, on YouTube. You're welcome. Good, good, good. Thanks, Barbara. Thanks, Jody.
Thanks, Penny Ann.
You're
Time to
welcome.
bed.
Oh, Roxanne has a question regarding the newsletter. Is it supposed to come to our emails, or is it just yes, it is supposed to come to your emails, and there's no regular time that it comes, which is whenever the mood strikes me, I send out a little something. I just send out when I think I have something interesting to add.